side deal that they cut in Oman was on the same boundaries that were presented in the drop side reporting a month prior, that they would not stop the blockade. They would not stop attacking Israel as long as Israel kept doing its genocide, but they would stop attacking American vessels, American Navy ships in the region if America stopped attacking Yemen, if America stopped bombing Yemen. And they did that. They cut a side deal with the Ansar Allah movement. And then Trump famously came out and said, Houthis are so brave. They're so courageous. They're so strong. I love them, right? After that, a similar pattern is emerging with Israel. The Trump administration, if you recall, had actually sidestepped Israel a couple months prior. They had another guy. I forget his name. What was the guy that talked directly to Hamas and Israel got him cut out? I forget his name. He was like a Trump envoy that basically went directly to Hamas and had a conversation directly with Hamas. Adam Baylor, thank you, Muslim monk. Thank you. Adam Baylor was the one who famously talked to Hamas and then went to American news and straight up was like, hey, these guys are not animals. Like, they're human beings. We can talk to them. And Israel lost their minds because the Trump administration a couple months ago, if you remember, was using this one guy, Adam Baylor, to directly talk to Hamas to release Elon Alexander, who is a New Jersey resident with a dual citizenship. He's an Israeli American who was captured on October 7th. He was a soldier. He's a prisoner of war. He was a part of the IDF and he got captured. And the Trump administration wanted to cut a side deal with Hamas to release him months ago. And Adam Baylor even went as far as to say, we're the United States. We're not an agent of Israel, right? And this frustrated the Israeli authorities so much that they basically backpocketed him. They cut him out. They were like, how dare you do this? How dare you communicate with Hamas without our go-ahead? How dare you communicate with Hamas without us? Well, it turns out Trump is done. And cutting side deals with Hamas again. And the culmination of that side deal has unfolded in the release of Elon Alexander, the New Jersey resident, dual citizen. In the lead up to this actual negotiation with Hamas that Israel took no part in, by the way, Steve Witkoff openly said and wanted to leak to the press these statements. This is important. He wanted these statements to be heard by press. Steve Witkoff says the U.S. wants to return the hostages, but Israel is not ready to end the war. Israel is prolonging the war, even though we do not see where further progress can be made. The Trump administration knows very well that Israel is making this war last forever in order to keep Netanyahu in power and continue the genocide. Israel has lost Trump. Now, I don't think Israel has lost Trump entirely. I think that who knows what might happen. Miriam Adelson might actually make a phone call to Trump and be like, cut it out. What the are you doing? You know, I gave you so much money, you asshole. Having said that, Trump is, one, hard to work with and gets frustrated fast when he feels like he's being manipulated. And obviously that classic Israeli arrogance and entitlement, you know, he's only going to take so much of that until he goes, shut the fuck up. You're up the bag for me. He came into office saying he was going to end these wars. He's not getting the response from Ukraine and Russia because Russia is a foreign adversary that is also manipulating Trump. But he has a lot more power and a lot more motion over Israel, which would not be able to conduct these operations without America's go-ahead, without America's munitions. So I think he looks at the situation, he looks at all the fucking chaos unfolding around the planet, and he goes, well, this is an area where I can actually put my weight down. I can actually put my foot down. And in the process, I think the Netanyahu administration annoyed him so much that he was just like, okay, we're going to do it ourselves then. And I think this was a big deal. This was a very big deal because it once again showed how much power America has. Because guess what? When America says we're talking to Hamas directly and we're extracting an Israeli American, and there are certain concessions that are going to take place in the process, Israel has to entertain that. Israel can't just go, no, you can't do that. As opposed to when France would try to do some shit like that, Israel could tell them to f off. Whereas they can't do that to the United States of America. And Biden had that power too. Never forget that. That's why I was so goddamn frustrated with the Biden administration lying at the behest of Israel, making it seem as though Biden was like having a stern talking to with Benjamin Netanyahu and that Netanyahu was not playing ball. Yeah, Netanyahu doesn't have to play ball. You can take the ball away. You are the United States of America. So ironically enough, they basically lost one of their biggest allies in the region, the Israeli government did, because you had a brain-dead, diehard Zionist who was indoctrinated into this process and was actually a loyal servant at that point. Like he just like truly was a fedayeen for Israel in a way that Trump is not, because Trump at the end of the day is easily manipulated. Trump at the end of the day is hot-headed and will get mad. Trump at the end of the day will turn around and get a plane from Qatar and go, all right, well, I'll make nice with these boys. Just like Trump and his seeming loyalty to Israel comes from the pocket change that he got to the tune of $100 million previously from Sheldon Adelson, who is now dead, rest in piss, and now his wife, Miriam Adelson, who gave another $100 million this time around. So $100 million can buy a lot of influence in this administration, but that means that someone else with $150 million could also buy a lot of influence in the administration. I think it's important that this deal happened because it basically shows the depravity of the Israeli government. It shows the depravity of the Israeli government to the Israeli society as a whole. It shows Israelis that wanted to release these hostages because they want their family members back, that like this administration has no interest in this whatsoever. So this basically lights a fire under the asses of everybody that is involved in this process to be like, what the f is Netanyahu doing? This war cannot go on. And that they're too invested in death and destruction and not invested in like actually bringing back hostages when America can seemingly do so. And in the process, the Israeli government has said, we need to detox from American security arrangements. No, the f you won't. Suck my dick. Here's senior fellow of Carnegie Endowment, Aaron David Miller, who had this assessment, and I kind of agree with it. A pattern is developing here. Trump outreach to Hamas twice, Houthi ceasefire and Iran negotiations, all uncoordinated with Israel, with the possible exception of Bush-Baker. All previous Republican Democrat administrations coordinated closely with Israel. No daylight policy. Not this one. Fascinating. Now, I don't know. I'm still very skeptical about this process. I will say personally that it's not a no daylight process. Maybe I'm too suspicious of Israel and how much power Israel has had in American foreign policy in the Middle East in the past, that like one man like Donald Trump is not going to be able to completely roll that back. But at the very least, the Trump administration is seemingly not shying away from demonstrating a direct separation from Israel on a lot of these issues. Do you see what I'm saying? How does this administration's collaboration with Hamas converge with the administration's contempt for pro-Palestine protesters? Brother, they're not like pro-Hamas, but I do think that Israel is such a fucking arrogant and such an entitled ally that yes, Hamas, that it even gets these people to see Hamas as the more reasonable, more restrained party because of Israel's behavior. Do you not understand? They're not pro-Hamas, but even they understand, like, yeah, we're going to probably get a better deal from Hamas than we will from Israel because they just want to ethnically cleanse the entire strip, and we want to bring out like the American citizen. We want to put an end to this conflict because it looks bad, because it looks horrible. I mean, this is a meme, but like it's kind of real. This meme right here is like, honestly, I think something like this happened to Trump, which is why he's now negotiating with Hamas. It's like, yeah, if you deal with Israel long enough, if you recognize the way Israel operates, if you see it, if you see that pattern emerging, eventually you're going to be like, all right, I'll go with the guys that are more reasonable here, which is Hamas.
Good game. I thought in the beginning Israel was better, but now Mali is getting is destroying them. Okay. Israel is not bad. Israel is not bad, but I think Mali is going to destroy them today. No, I'm just talking about football. I'm just talking about football. Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine!
This is a common pattern that has emerged throughout this past year and a half, where Israel does some insane, heinous shit, and then its supporters loudly declare it as the best possible thing to do. Everybody goes, what the f are you saying? This is incredible violence. Like, how are you saying this? Like, I don't think we should be killing children like this. And they go, you're anti-Semitic. F you are terrorist. You are terrorist. Police, arrest this man. No politics here. And it causes people to go, okay, f you, free Palestine, okay? They've basically pushed people into the hands of Hamas as the reasonable party. Remember, this is a guy that literally said he wanted to ethnically cleanse the Gaza Strip. Like, that was his idea. That was his brilliant idea, was like, yeah, let's just fucking cleanse it all. And a couple months later, now he's like, I'm done. Glory to the fucking Al-Qassam martyrs. Like, that's what he fucking went from being like, we should ethnically cleanse the entirety of the Gaza Strip to, inshallah, the martyrs of the Al-Qassam brigades will one day be seen as hailed as heroes over the course of like back and forth conversations with Israel. It's fucking insane. Yeah, he hit the may Allah awaken the people. Yeah, also that, and shouts out to the fucking Qatar, the Qatari envoys in the process. Those boys played a big role in this. Okay, much respect and much love to Qatar with the $400 million jet that they're giving to Donald Trump, which will be gifted once the Trump administration is over to the Trump library, from what I understand, which of course is obviously a major greasing operation. The top blokes over at Qatar straight up were like, dog, fuck it. Last time we didn't play ball with you and we learned our lesson. Do you want a plane? I would love to give you a $400 million plane that you can fucking personally get out of the situation. And that got Trump going like this.
Allah awaken the people and help them to see the evil doings of Israel and the United States.
Yeah, straight up. What made Donald Trump such a loyal ally to Israel, which was how endlessly bribable he is, has also made him somewhat of a foe at times, okay? But once again, don't forget, I do believe personally that Trump is unstable, he's dangerous, he does not give a shit about anything, really. So I'm not holding out my breath on this. And I agree with Felix once again. He says, you know what? If this makes him force Israel to eat a shit sandwich and smile, it's an incredible idea and I fully support it. Qatar does it again. Yeah. Shouts out to my beautiful Qatari spenders out there. The Oilers, I love you. Shouts out to the sheiks. Mwah. Good job. Keep it up. Keep greasing those goddamn wheels, okay? Keep it up, baby. Dude, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? You know what I mean? This guy is like incredibly easy to manipulate. They're gonna bring this up next time you get detained. Yeah, I'm gonna be like, yeah, Trump is the great peacemaker, and I love him. Does this news change your views on who would have been better on this issue, Kamala versus Trump? Again, I'm not holding my breath on this, okay? Does this change so far? Both yes and no. Once again, we don't know where this will go. I do not know what Trump will do. But yeah, I don't give a who does it, just end the genocide. Exactly. That's how I feel about it. That's where I'm at on this. The Hamas statement shows how different Witkoff is being compared to the Israelis. Yeah, we'll talk about that in a second. While Biden earned, Matthew Petty says, Biden was incredibly effective at his actual goal, buying Netanyahu infinite time for the war, but that required Biden to pretend to be hapless. Matt Duss, by the way, is executive vice president at CI Policy, and he is Bernie's former foreign policy advisor for Bernie Sanders, and Center for International Policy is like a anti-war hawk think tank, basically, and they do pretty good work. Matt Duss says it's really something to watch Trump handle Netanyahu more effectively than the alleged foreign policy expert Joe Biden did, and this is true. So far, he's been able to implement a ceasefire. And also on top of that, he's been able to basically cut a side deal and piss off the Israeli administrators in the process, and is not afraid of stepping on toes in that regard. And I think that's ultimately a good thing. In any case, this is from the Izzad Din al-Qassam Brigade, released a captured Israeli soldier, Idan Alexander, a U.S. citizen, a short while ago, following contacts with the U.S. administration. This comes as a part of the efforts being made by mediators to achieve a ceasefire, open the crossings, and allow aid and relief to reach our people in the Gaza Strip. The reason why Hamas did this was because they wanted to do a show of good faith to the Trump administration, because the Trump administration was willing and able to talk to them separately from Israel. This is the reason why they did this. So if you're asking, like, what was the purpose of this? Like, Israel is still not allowing aid in. Israel's not allowing this. Israel's not doing anything. And Israel has said over and over again that we're not going to change course here. We are in the